Henry Cejudo questions if Israel Adesanya pleading guilty to the DUI yesterday could have been a publicity stunt.
Israel Adesanya just got a DUI. Is this a publicity stunt? That's the next question that I want to ask. We saw it in the past with McGregor. We saw it with John Jones. We saw it with Mike Tyson. But a lot of these guys literally get in trouble after them having a devastating loss or something along that matter. I mean, because he's a big name, will this work in his favor? But what that's called is called life, dude. And at the end of the day, man, continue to keep being that mixed martial artist. I wouldn't go down that route of becoming that bad boy. Your identity, Israel, is not just fighting. You know, your identity, man, is who you are as a whole, as a person. And you know, I guess we all make mistakes too. So I'm not here to kick you, man, while you're down. You know, a lot of what I've done, and I've been able to do a really good job with it, is just criticize you, but also knowing that you are a champion. You have done amazing things. I just want to let you know, bro, that that we're all, you know, that as a fighter, as a mixed martial artist too, that we're all behind you, dude.
Gilbert Burns is extremely confident in Leon Edwards defeating Colby Covington. Gilbert said Leon will win any day of the week. I think he has way better striking, like very sharp, super good striking, with managing the distance and controlling. His wrestling defense got much better, and his grappling is super underrated. I think Leon is very good, but because he doesn't fight so often, people kind of underrate him a little bit. I think he's very good. I think he's going to beat Colby, and I think he's going to beat Bilal Muhammad. Daniel Cormier warns Leon Edwards to not underestimate Colby Covington. Leon versus Colby goes down at UFC 296. On his YouTube channel, DC said Leon Edwards' improvements have been so drastic and so vast that it's hard to imagine a time where he couldn't have wrestled, or he would get taken down over and over again. His jump between the first Usman fight to the second fight was really impressive. But then my question becomes this, guys. It's one thing to fight a wrestler. It's another thing to fight a wrestler like Colby Covington. Colby Covington, love him or hate him, you have to respect that he is a tremendous competitor. He's one of the hardest working guys that you'll ever meet. And if he's not one of the hardest guys you've ever met, you know some really hard-working people, because Covington, to have the career that he's had, it's really amazing. He's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, he's not the biggest, but we're talking about a guy that became a multiple-time NCAA All-American. Following her loss to Marina Rodriguez at UFC Vegas 79, Michelle Waterson is consoled by Rashad Evans after the fight. Michelle is in a bit of a rough patch in her MMA career. She has won 1 out of her last 7 fights, and the win was a split decision over Angela Hill.
All throughout our camp, we said we need to go back to being the violent person that I am, the person that's going to come back and just go for it.
Obviously, this fight was a rematch. Did you learn anything in the first fight that you were able to use tonight? For example, the use of the tie clinch and the knees.
Aljamain Sterling believes Alex Pereira is going to defeat Yuri Prochazka.
You know what's crazy about that run, though? And I hate coming back to myself, but it reminds me of the O'Malley situation. Like, Poatan definitely did not earn that title shot, and he got it, right? Because of the storyline and because of the push.
Not in the same way.
Yeah, not in the same way. So there's always that opportunity where if a guy has to go through the same gauntlet as some of the other people, that they could have a few stumble blocks, and then that opportunity for them to get into that spotlight, limelight position where they're fighting for a belt and being able to capitalize on it, you kind of take the chances of that happening a little bit more. I think you kind of take it away a little bit. And I know when he beat, he beat Sean, and then the next fight was a title. I forget what Sean was ranked at the time.
8.
And he went from that to that, and I think Sean then lost to Cannonier after that. You just never know, and that's why when people say, like, I hate when people say this person has no chance of winning. The amount of people that were telling me that going into my fight with O'Malley was probably one of the most annoying things.
Right.
Because it's literally diminishing or undermining everything that he's done, even though he hasn't fought that many guys in the top 5, only Piotr Jan, and then myself, the former champ. I recognize how dangerous he actually was. Same thing, recognizing how dangerous Pereira actually was, him going out and beating Izzy. But you can kind of see who's paying respect to the game, I guess. Because you gotta treat it that every opponent is the most dangerous opponent. Because if you don't, that's when you get caught up and that's when you get got. But going back to Poatan versus Jiri, I think this is a fun fight. It's very impressive what he's been able to do in such a short amount of time. Obviously, his grappling is lacking. I think if Jiri takes him down, which he probably would because he's such a wild star fighter. He'll swing some crazy shit on the feet. If it hits the ground, I think Jerry should win.
Chael Sonnen is confident that Tony Ferguson defeats Paddy Pimblett. On his YouTube channel, Chael said Paddy the Baddy is going to get whipped by Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's a tough night for anybody, and Tony only has fought real killers. These guys that have gotten the nudge on Tony are the best of the best. Tony Ferguson until just recently has been ranked in the top 10 for his entire career. Tony Ferguson is the one that gave Justin Gaethje an opportunity. Tony Ferguson is the one that created Charles Oliveira. You can see when a guy's time has passed, but you're still juxtaposing that against a guy's time who's never arrived. Paddy the Baddy has never arrived. Tony just slid out of the top 10. Paddy's never been in the top 10. Never even threatened to be in the top 10. A guy being on a skid while being active is a much better situation than a guy sitting out. This isn't a hard bet. Strickland and Chris Curtis released a new episode of the Man Dance podcast yesterday. If you haven't subscribed to Sean's YouTube channel, a link will be in the description. Sean and Chris were breaking down the fights at UFC 293, and when Israel Adesanya came up, here's what Sean had to say.
Oh man, there's this fucking guy.
Look at fucking this bullshit.
Yeah, fucking Izzy with the titties.
What are the strike totals? Let's see, 137.
Yeah, guys, it was a good time, you guys. It was a good time, you know. I like fighting. I like to hit. If I like to fight, I gave it 110%. It was good, you know. And I thought Izzy would be better. I'm sure the UFC might give him a rematch, and you know he might take it a little bit more serious and put up a better fight. My thing is, dude, when it comes down next fight, everybody's like, who do you want to fight? I don't give a fuck, dude. I want to make fucking money. I get those pay-per-view buys.
He's gonna sell. But
give me somebody who's gonna make money. I don't want to fight anybody boring. I want to fight, you know. Give me someone who's making money.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Richard Noggin 697. I had to pin this one. It's in reference to Sean O'Malley and Bryce Mitchell squashing their beef and then talking about raising farm animals. It says how to go from having a beef to squashing a beef to raising and selling beef in one 3-minute video.
How about that, brother? I bet you didn't expect that from this inbred hillbilly.
The second one's from Jeff. It says O'Malley and Mitchell, the bromance we never knew we needed but can no longer live without. And the final one's from Andrew Mack. It says Hamzat really managed to go from the most loved to the most hated without taking a single fight. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.